And we are live. Welcome to the SEO and AI news for week 43. So that's last week. I've gathered all the cool news, updates, guides, everything you need to know to stay ahead of the SEO and AI visibility game. My name is Frederick Drost. I work for Precies, and let's just jump right into it. There's a lot to go through here. First, there is Brighton happened. So, of course, all the best published decks from the latest Brighton this year are on this website here. And of course, a light little plug to our own lovely Kristinna Bergwell, who was presenting on how to bring SEO, people management, CRO, UX, Google Ads, and all these things together to create, well, more than the sum of its parts, really. So, good presentation there. And of course, reach out to Precies if you want to know more about how we're doing things. We're always open to answer questions. Next up, Duane Forrester here has a really technical guide on how to measure when search engines and AI engines, so to speak, disagree or don't disagree. So he's created a really good framework for that, which is quite technical. So, and I'll have a look at this. But if you're interested in doing this type of analysis, here's a pretty good article. Then we have, of course, a must-read, our lovely Screaming Frog, the best crawler tool out there, in my opinion, has a new update, version 23, a lot of different updates. You can just follow the link, which will also be in the video description, of course. The highlights for me was Ahrefs API version 3. So you can now get a lot of those new metrics that the new API, which I've been working with, is great. So that's already good. PageSpeed has gone from the classic well, even PageSpeed Insights, the tool itself, the one in the browser, has changed their approach to tasks and the findings. So they've updated that as well. And this one's really cool. There's some embedding rules for matching similarity. So, what's it called? URL matching, etc. has become a lot easier. You can define rules on what should be matched with what. Really cool stuff. Thank you, Screaming Frog, for just being awesome. Next up, Chelsea Alves here explains why authority on Reddit and Quora is now critical for trust. And not only that, but also for visibility. Google is showing a lot of Reddit, especially with the questions and forums snippet. And I would also say AI, ChatGPT, for example, is referencing a lot of Reddit. So being there is important for visibility and trust. Go through it, the article. It's really a good explanation of why it matters if you're in doubt. Glenn Gabe reacts to Adobe's announcement for its new generative engine optimization tool called LLM Optimizer. Again, can see here his reaction. It says, oh boy. So Lily Rhea as well is talking about big yikes. Hope whoever is building this has SEO experience. And people are saying, I'm not sure that's the case. How can an LLM optimizer build authority for businesses? What? Question mark, question mark. That's a really good, I love the dude here as well reacting. To be honest, this is the same reaction I have. This could be them jumping on the hype, but I'd definitely be very careful using this tool, especially if we're building authority automatically. That seems quite strange. So yeah, anyway, very skeptical here. Next up, we also have a lot of SERP volatility measured from the 21st of August. If you can see here, it's a score of 9.1. Again, that's really, really high. It smells a bit like Google updates. I guess it might not be, but it's definitely worth noting that there might be SERP volatility from 21st and throughout the last week, in case you're seeing it. Next up, we've got Barrett Ahern here. Ahern. He's been analyzing Shopify's new unlisted product status. So it's a new feature in Shopify. You've got these statuses: active, draft, unlisted. What's really important here is that some of this just hides it from users, and some of them hides them from search engines, and they're not very clear about the differences here. And it really matters, I think, for products who are out of stock but will return. You might want to hide them from users but not search engines, versus products who will never come back. Let's hide them for search engines completely. And in most cases, I'd also like to redirect the URL back to the main parent category. So a bunch of things there. If you're unclear on this, have a look at this. This explains it perfectly, what each of these means. So watch out, people on Shopify or using it. Next up, we've got perhaps the most complete ChatGPT query tracker. It seems to be. This came from a post on LinkedIn where the person, Olivier de Segonzac, Sounds very French. Signal Olivier de Signalsec. We're sharing a few insights into ChatGPT that was never seen before. One of them being, again, we know that sometimes ChatGPT will do web search and query fan out and ask a bunch of questions, synthesize them. That's great. They've realized there's something called the shopping fan out. So a specific shopping fan out module, so to speak, right? That's on top of something or on the side. And also there's evidence pointing to search API.io being used to scrape Google shopping results. So really, really interesting stuff. And that was a great article. And then I realized, well, they also have a query tracker. So when you're in ChatGPT in your browser, you can start tracking queries and a bunch of things which you can use for maybe your content strategy or other types of things. So I've downloaded this. I will test it. Have a look as well. I've got two other query tracker, ChatGPT Path and Search Fan Out Tracker here. So there's a few. There's a few of these already in. Oh wow, it's already. Yeah. Anyway, I've got two already. I'll be testing this one as well and get back to you with the best one. Also, ChatGPT released a new browser called Atlas, which is full of holes, and there's a lot of skepticism amongst SEOs. People are, it's not safe, it's not free, it summarizes articles, who cares? I mean, there's a bunch of things about this. I don't think it'll be a big thing. The skepticism is also on how hard it is to change people's browser compared to just search behavior. Again, great for you, Atlas, go ahead, but it'll be a hard road ahead of you. Glenn Alshub as well shared some insights in this, what we call best list articles, which dominates, I mean, again, AI will cite a lot of these best listicles types of articles, and a lot of companies have been spammingly posting them on their own blog, getting them as high, putting them as the highest one. And so you're not really getting the real best up, which again, when affiliate websites do this, perhaps they'll put the one that pays the most affiliate out in the top as well. So there's always money incentives, which I've never really liked with those. But the fact is now I can post this on my own blog and control the narrative and then just get picked up in AI. Seems like something they will be tackling. So, hey, anyone trying to do this or recommending you do this now, it might work now, but you might get punished for being spammy in the future. So just be careful, right? Things that work really fast and quickly in Google tends to be spammy and never really works long term, my opinion. But yeah, great post on exactly that. And he's kind of analyzing I think he analyzed 750 of them and kind of going through which different types there are. So have a look at this, very interesting post, definitely. And then we've got a huge smash down or smash up of all 10 of the recent AI mode studies. So if you're really interested in AI mode and all the data around it, this is the article to look at because we're taking a lot of the studies and kind of putting them together and figuring out what's going on. So a great work here from Search Engine Journal. Also, actually quite a good content strategy, just like any hype topic. If you can find 10 analysis, we'll then take those and analyze them and give you an average. I think that's a great content strategy. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Scammers are targeting Disney with spam links. And apparently Google is telling us not to worry, but Mr. Cyrus Shepard here, well, look at the site links here. They're literally the site links on my Disney account has picked up some of the anchors from these spammy backlinks, which is really crazy. So the fact that Google can't ignore this and actually puts them in site links seems completely off. So what does this tell me and my clients is that we should be a little bit more aware of targeted spam, maybe be more careful, maybe start going back to using these good old disavow lists that we used to use. Again, Google ignores most of these auto-created spam links, but you know, if you have some authorities with issue, although you think you have a good backlink profile, maybe get some disavowing going and check your site links regularly. So if you know you have site links in some searches, mostly branded, etc., go and check them regularly. You can also find out from Search Console data if you have queries where there's a lot of more impressions or zero-click impressions, that could be the site links. So you can see those pages as well popping up. I mean, there's ways to see it in the data, but you know. Next up, 17 data reports that every SEO should be tracking in 2026. I have not read through all of these, but apparently this is quite I thought it looked like a really good list, and a lot of it was like marketing, top level things. So if you're presenting or you need to justify budgets, I think these are great to look in. So I've definitely bookmarked this bad boy. And then finally, Corey Morris here outlined a smarter approach to SEO content auditing. Now, we're doing this. We have internal tools as well. Some of my greatest colleagues are working on this, but I think when reading through this, there was one approach I really liked, which was the 3P model: purpose, performance, potential. I really like that. I like the idea of, well, we've got purpose with brand and goals. You can look at the funnel as well. Performance makes a lot of sense. And then potential. Now, how do we calculate that? But I love the LLM inclusion, repurposing possibilities. So there's ways to classify this, which I think this is really cool. So, and then of course you should remove, combine, update, or keep. Boom. So those are the kind of things you could do. So it's kind of top level. I think if you're, not a senior, this might be a really good article for you to go through and have a look at. But well, I guess that's it. No more news. So you're up to date. Again, all of these news will have short summaries and titles in the bottom of this video. So the video description will have all the different news and links. So go read up on them, bookmark them, save them for later over a cup of tea. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you want weekly news. And otherwise, I'll see all of you lovely people next week.